Okay, so good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining today's session. Like I put in the chat, if you're a student or a parent or an educator, so basically a teacher, or a school principal, proprietor, any of that, and you are here on the call today, please feel free to drop in the chat like where you're from and like your school, the name of your school and the or if you're students, the name of your school and the class that you're in. But if you're a teacher, just the name of the school. Um yeah, so and we will recognize you at some point. So, but thank you everybody for joining. Um, so today we have a really interesting program for you. I'm really excited about this program because it has to do with finances. It's about teaching kids how to, how to start today, to start saving, to start making investments so that, further down the line in their future, they are going to be, financially free, financially independent. And our speaker is going to speak about what that is, or what it means to be financially free, what it means to be financially independent in a little bit. But yeah, so this is our agenda for today. We are going to, well, recognition of schools present, if there's anyone present. Anyway, this session is recorded and it will be available on our YouTube channel. So feel free to, again, for example, look at it, send it to someone you think this will be beneficial to. And then I'm going to go into opening remarks. If you're familiar with Jews, then you're probably a bit familiar with my face, probably more than you want to. But my name is Ada Okeke, and I'm the founder of Juice Africa. And why are we here today? We're here today because the average secondary school child, the average Nigerian child growing up gets asked the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? That's one of the most ubiquitous question a secondary school child is asked, or any child at all. Um, and the thing is that many times, especially in Nigeria, there's not a lot of support, there's not a lot of guidance for the child to make that decision. So whether they want to be artists, or whether they want to be actors or dancers, or doctors or lawyers or whatever, the point is that there's usually not a lot of guidance. And even when the course you want to study or the course you're interested in studying, there's usually not a lot of insight on how to get there. I gave this example last week, but I'll give it again. We were at a school speaking to students about what they want to be, and a secondary school student said, "Oh, I want to be a pilot." And we were like, okay, that's exciting. Do you know the way to be? What's the journey? What do you have to do? And he said, oh, I'll go to university. After university, go to NYSC. After NYSC. So he had the traditional path, which many people have to take. But that's not the path to being a pilot. And unless that child gets some type of guidance and some type of support on that path, unfortunately, they might miss what they're interested in. So what Juice is about really is about supporting young people in, first of all, finding out a range of careers, a range of career opportunities, and a range of professions, basically things they can do when they grow up. And then the next part of it is guiding them, that mentorship, guiding them to get there. And then, of course, depending on what universities would offer the courses they do, guiding them and supporting them into those, getting into those universities. But even more than that, taking up global university opportunities. We're very passionate to give children or secondary school students the opportunity to get into any university in the world, as long as they're willing to put in the work, and and they're committed to doing the work that it requires. So that's what Juice is about. And on the right, you'll see all of our programs that we that we run to make this possible. One of such programs is a program we're having today, which is a presentation. And, of course, we have boot camps. We have our boot camp coming up, which we're very excitedly planning. We have mentor-mentee one-on-ones, which we always say, if there is anyone, any secondary school student on the call who would like support, who would like to have someone to ask questions, oh, I'm thinking of doing this course, or I'm thinking of, becoming this in future. My parents want me to be this, how can I convince them? Those types of questions. We're very committed to helping secondary school students answer and navigate. And last but not the least, we have our uni preparation program. You're going to hear more about it at the end of today's session, but we have our uni preparation program because the next session we have next in 2 weeks' time is about preparing for, university opportunities. So these are the things that we do. And I skipped a slide, but it's just to say that JUICE is a very easy way for secondary school students or teenagers today in Nigeria to start thinking about what they want to do when they grow up, what they want to be when they grow up, and what they are interested in, right? So that's what we do. Our mission is to build a future with purpose, with clarity, and intentionality. We don't want a Nigeria where children stumble and say, no, I want to be this. And then maybe they apply to the uni jam, they will say, oh, no, you cannot be a doctor. Maybe you should do marine biology. And then they go into marine biology and they're not interested in marine biology. Again, nothing wrong with marine biology, but if that's not where you want to be, then you're not going to give it your best. You're not going to be excited about it. You're going to come out of uni and not know what to do with marine biology. So what JUICE is about is making sure kids are not stumbling back and forth into those careers. JUICE is about making sure that a child is guided, a child is supported, and given all the tools necessary to get to where they need to be. So how can you be part of us today, or how can you join JUICE? If you're already here today, then welcome and hi, and it's really nice to have you. If you're here today, then that means you're already in a way part of JUICE. Other ways you can be part of JUICE. These meetings hold every 2 weeks, right? So it's the same link. So if you already have this link today, then you can even already share it to people and say, oh, there's this exciting thing that happens every 2 Saturdays at 11 p.m. Oh, sorry, 11 a.m. Invite us students, invite us a parent, invite a a school, an educator, a teacher. One thing I'm going to say is that JUICE is holistic. We do not want to just talk to students, because after talking to a student and they say, oh, wonderful, wonderful, now I want to be an engineer, and they go home and their parents are like, nope, you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, then what does that child do, right? So we want JUICE to be holistic. We want to carry parents along. We want to carry teachers along, because students spend the most time, whether or not we know it or like it, with the school, with their teachers, and with their educators, right? So we want to carry their parents along who are financially responsible for them. We want to carry the teachers along who spend the most time with them. We want to carry also the students along. So it's a holistic enterprise, and we even carry organizations along, because we envisage a world in which JUICE will be supporting students by introducing them to companies so that they can intern, so they can learn more about their areas of interest. So you can become a member of JUICE. So if you're here and you're a young professional, so that means what that basically means is if you're working in a career and you're excited about that career and you want to share more and teach more about that career, especially if it's a career that many people are not very aware of. So please join JUICE. You can connect with us on any of our social media platforms. You're going to see it at the end of this conversation. You can tell others about JUICE. This is really important. I'm not saying this because I'm the founder of JUICE, but I say this because it's true. We do incredible work here. There's an incredible team behind JUICE, making sure that we are bringing the most exciting people, bringing people who are passionate about what they do. and support and to mentor young people. So if the young people we're doing this for, if they don't know about what we do, if the parents are not aware, if the teachers are not aware, then all of this is pointless. But by God's grace, it's not pointless. So where we need you is to bring others to Juice, introduce others to Juice, introduce schools to Juice, and tell others about Juice. You can become a mentor, you can become a sponsor of Juice, um, and you can connect with us on all of our social media platforms. Um, so the conversation for today, I'm just going to go into that. I'm very excited by this topic, and I'll tell you why. So recently, I've gotten into looking more at my finances, and I read a ton of books about money, about finances, about building wealth, what it means to be wealthy. Um, and one thing that keeps coming up to me, and one of the most exciting things that keeps coming up is how many of the billionaires we know today, like let me say, I say many because there are of course exceptions, but many of the billionaires we know today, the world's richest man for many decades, Warren Buffett, um, he became a millionaire through savings and through investing, right? He started investing at the age of 10. At the age of 10. It was not when he graduated from uni and he started working and all of that. He started investing from 10. And by the age of 65 was when I believe he became the world's richest man, if I'm not mistaken. But the point being that this speaks to the power of saving and investments. It speaks to the power of starting at a very young age. And it speaks to the power of starting and just doing something over and over and over again, right? So if you're a student here, there was a student who asked a very interesting question on our WhatsApp chat when we posted this and said, oh, if I don't have any money for myself, can I still attend this session? And I really hope you're here. I think her name is Blessing. I really hope you're here, Blessing, because this conversation is supposed to support you so that you can start thinking in that way. So that when your mom gives you, pocket money for the week or for the month, or an uncle and auntie gives you some money, or you win some money, you win a scholarship or anything, if you come in contact with money legally and legitimately, we're not asking you to do anything illegal, but if you come in contact with money, you know how to spend that money. You know that if someone gives you 5,000 naira because, an uncle you haven't seen in a long time, you know that you don't get that 5,000 naira and start spending it and start looking for what you buy. You know that if you save, if you invest this 5,000 naira, what it can be by the time you are, in future, many years away, right? So that's the conversation we're having today. That's why this conversation is important. And I say this to say that Juice is why is this conversation pertinent to your future? Why does it connect to your career? Um, there are many students or many people who pick careers because I need money. I need to be able to provide for my family. My parents are suffering and suffering and trying to train me. I need to be in that place where whatever career I take, it doesn't matter if I like it, if I don't like it, I need to have a career that makes money, right? First of all, your career should make you money. So that's a sine qua non. That's a given, right? Your career should make you money, but your career should not be dictated by whether or not you're struggling, you need money. Your career should be dictated by your passion, your interest, how you can give back and how you can add value to the world. And of course, how you can, of course, make value for yourself. But the point is, if you're in that place where you start saving, where you start investing at a young age, you're not afraid, you're not panicking that, oh, let me pick a career that will give me money, because financially you are secure. Your future is secure. You know that it's never going to be a situation where you're in your 30s, and 30s might seem very far away now, but that's the point. You will get there. you know so when you're in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s and you're still struggling for money, okay, so That's what this conversation is about. And that's why it's important for your career. That's why it's tied to the work that Juice does. We don't want to just develop you to, oh, I want to be a doctor, you become a doctor. We want to give you the tools so that you be an excellent doctor, a successful doctor. You have the finances that you need, right? So the person who will be, I'm not the person who is going to, even if I've been talking a lot, I'm not the person who will be hosting this talk. The person who will be hosting this talk is Mrs. Agbodesi Grace Onoja. She's a chartered accountant and she's an accomplished personal finance expert. So that basically means this personal finance, how to plan your money, how to use your money, how to save, how to spend your money. She's an expert, and she's committed to empowering individuals and communities to achieve financial independence and security. She wants you not to be always worried about finances, always worried about how to spend money. She wants to help you achieve financial security. So she's going to probably explain more what that means. She's the founder of Personal Finance with Agbodesi PFA, and it's a community dedicated to advancing financial literacy. And she's successfully guided many individuals through practical strategies on how to save money and how to save and invest. She has a very rich profile, right? I'm not going to read all of it. I hope you permit me not to read all of it. But what I want you to understand is that this person speaking to you knows her onions. She knows what she's doing. She's not talking to you based on textbook knowledge. Oh, they said. She is an expert in what she's speaking about. So if you're a parent here, I hope you listen with, probably for yourself, but more than that, with the mindset of how you can already today set up your child for the future. If you're a student here, I hope you listen with the mindset that every money I get, it's not just for me to spend. I'll just say a quick thing before I hand over to Mrs. Desi. When I was younger, I saved a lot, So I'll go to secondary school, they will give me pocket money. I will probably not spend any of my pocket money, and then I'll bring it back and give it back to my parents. And they're like, oh, good girl, Ada, wonderful. Nothing wrong with that. But I wish I had this knowledge when I was younger, because I would have been saving all of that money. So instead of giving it back to them, I would have been saving it. I would have been investing it. And today I would be in a much, much, much better financial situation. So if you're someone who already says, oh, I don't even spend too much money like that, this talk is for you. And if you're someone who you spend money and you struggle, once money is in your hand, you're looking for where to spend it, then this talk is also for you. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Mrs. Desi to speak to us. Desi, please let me know if your mic is unmuted, because I've been trying to
Yes, please. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you. I think others can hear you as well. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for agreeing to do this, and I'm really excited. I'll be controlling the slides, so just keep telling me next slide, and I'll do that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone. It's morning here in Nigeria, so good morning to us. It's so good to see us. Thank you for joining in, and trust me, you are in the right place. I mean, when I was invited for this, I was like, oh, this is nice. Catch them young. Because when we talk about personal finance, most times we are targeted at the adults, those who are already making money. And just in case you are here, and just like the young lady who asked that question that, oh, but I'm not making money yet. So why do I really need this? Trust me, you need this information. You need it for the future. I mean, this is like the best time for you to equip yourself with the sort of knowledge that you are going to hear from this platform today. So welcome once again. Please, you can go to the next slide. So this is just an overview of what we have to learn today. Please, can you go to the previous slide so that I can walk us through what to expect from today's session? So we'll be asking ourselves, why make smart money moves? I mean, I'm just a teenager, so why should I be doing this? Why should I be thinking about money? So we'll look into that and you will see the reason why you should actually make smart money moves at this point of your life. And also we'll look at the power of starting early. Why should you start at this age? Look at budgeting for beginners. I know it looks like a big word. I mean, budgeting is for countries and big organizations. So my little self, why should I be budgeting? I will hold your hands and take you through how you can begin to budget as a teenager, as a young person. And we look at investing 101, the basics of investing, how to build your future today by exploring different investment options. We'll also take a look at money moves to avoid as a teen. So as a teenager, as a young person, there are certain things that you shouldn't get yourself involved in at this point of your life so that you do not get your fingers burnt. It is very important. And also look at all right, so I'll just switch over to my other device.
Okay.
Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so I'll try to get the other back. So let me just switch over to this. All right, great. So we'll look at practical steps on how you can get started. So we are not just talking, right? We are not just going to talk. We are also going to guide you through on how you can start. So please permit me for my video to be off for a while.
Okay.
And
No
then
worries.
we'll just, all right, thank you. Then we'll take a recap and conclude and wrap up this session. Please, we can take the next slide. So I'm not here to just tell you things that do not work or things that I have not practicalized. Fortunately for me, I started my financial management journey from a very tender age, the age of 10. So I got into secondary school at 10 years, when I was 10 years old. And I went to a boarding school. So at that point, I did not have my parents around. And of course, you have pocket money. So you have what they call pocket money. You'll be giving pocket money when you go to school. So I don't know how, but I will write down every detail of what I spend my money on to the last kobo. I had this book, and when I visit my parents, I still see the book in the pile of books where they kept our stuff, right? How I spend 10 naira on this and 2 naira on that and stuff like that. But it really helped me from that tender age. It's a practice I still do till date, right? Keeping track of my expenses, knowing where my money is going, knowing how I am spending my money. So it has actually helped me as an individual take control over my finances. And that's why personal finance is something I'm very passionate about. And if you are wondering, oh, am I not too young to start to pay attention to these things? This is me telling you that no, you are not too young. Okay. So why should we make smart money moves? Why should we do this? Why should we learn about it? Why should we start to practicalize the things that we hear today? It's for financial independence and freedom, for you to secure your financial future. Now, learning early, securing, getting knowledge, acquiring knowledge on early financial education helps you to build a foundation for independence. I'm sure that if you think top of your head, you have one or two uncles or aunties who once in a while call your mom or your dad and they're like, auntie, please, can you help me with some money? I want to pay my rent, or I need money to pay my school fees or something like that. That is one of the things that starting early will help you prevent, right? It's going to help you to be financially independent so that at this young age, when you start to pay attention to your finances and gain control over your finances, when you grow up to be an adult, you have already mastered the act of personal finance management. And this is helping you build a foundation for that future of financial independence, security, and freedom. Okay, so that you are not dependent on anybody. It also helps you to own your own cash, meaning owning your own future. Just like we have said, financial independence, you own your own money. You know that, okay, if I work for money, if I get a gift, this is what I should use it for. I should not spend it anyhow because there's a future that I am working towards. So you become your own boss. You own your own money, regardless of whether you are a guy or you are a lady, right? So it's very, very important. It helps you not to be one of those individuals that grows up seeking urgent 2K or people to subscribe for them, because you are mastering the act of financial management at this tender age. Smart decisions now is equivalent to epic rewards later. So if you are not, so later on, we are going to talk about some money moves to avoid, right? So if you're able to avoid those money moves at this point early in your life, which some adults are struggling with, it means that later on in the future, you will be very okay. You will be very, very okay. So with this point, I hope I'm able to convince us that you are actually making the right decision, being in this session and paying attention to your financial life. Also, learning early helps you to empowers you, right? It empowers you. Money management gives you the power to live life on your own terms. You know what you want to do with money. So if at this stage you start saving up, you start investing, and probably yourself and your friends, there's this opportunity that comes up in the future. As a teenager, you can even start a business. Do you know there are teenagers who own businesses, right? So there's an opportunity that comes up. Instead of running to mommy and daddy and say, mommy, my friends and I want to buy bags and resell at so cost and make 50% profits. You have some money somewhere which you can use to empower that vision, empower that dream. So it is very, very, very important. And also it helps you to avoid pitfalls. Being financially literate means that you control your money, not the other way around. I love to call it, you become a money bender. So if you're familiar with the movie Avatar, where they had the wind bender, the water bender, and I think the air bender, you too, you become a money bender, meaning you control your money, tell your money, this is where I want you to go. And your money doesn't control you. There are people who money control. Yes, because they have certain habits that they have not been able to manage properly. And so as a result, money controls them. So equipping yourself with this information at this time helps you to avoid certain pitfalls and helps you to take control of your finances. Please, can we have the next slide? All right, so we have seen why we should start early. And now let's look at the power of starting early. In finance, there is what we call compounding interest. Compound interest. Let me explain. So if you are, let's say you are 13 years old and you have invested 5,000 naira somewhere, right? That 5,000 naira, you've gotten even as little as 500 naira interest in a month, right? So now you invested 5,000 naira, you have 5,500. Now you put that 500 back in and then make an extra, let's say 200. Now you have 5,700, you put it back in and it grows to 6,000. And then every month you keep rolling over. At the end of, let's say, the year, your 5,000 becomes 50,000. So that is what compounding interest means. So starting early helps you grow your money faster, right? So it helps you take advantage of the concept of compound interest. And also saving a little amount regularly can grow into a significant sum over time. Yes, just like I explained to you, your 5,000 today can become 50,000 at the end of the year 2025. It can become 100,000. Now it depends on what you have invested in. So it's very important that you start early. They say the best time to plant a tree was, I think, 100 or 20 years ago, and the next best time is now. So if you had not started before now, you should actually start now. I know of a family who they do not celebrate their kids' birthdays the way people celebrate. So they can just get you a cake or have a nice meal on that day. But the money that they should have spent in celebrating the birthday, they invest it. So they have investments for their children, for each of them. And they started this at a very tender age when their kids were like very little. And every year, they invest a certain amount for those children. Now the children are in university, and guess what? It's the money which they have been saving over the years on every year during the children's birthday. That is what they use now to sponsor the children in school. And one of the kids was like, "Oh, I need a new laptop." And like, "Oh, you have money, go get it." And that was from the investments over the years. So these things are very important. They are not just nice ideas. They are actually really, really helpful. It also helps you to develop a saving habit. A lot of adults even struggle with this. This is one of the greatest struggles that adults have. They don't know how to save. They just live in the moment. They live in the now. Oh, I have money, right? Oh, yeah, let's spend it. I have money now. Let's spend it. Let's spend it. Let's use the money. But if you have mastered the act of saving, you grow with it, right? Just from this tender age, as an adult, to become a responsible adult, it becomes a non-negotiable part of your financial lifestyle. So it's something that you really, really do need to pay attention to. Start small. Don't wait till you have maybe 50K or 100,000 or something before you say, okay, now I can now conveniently save that 500. That's 200 naira. Yes. So a few days ago, I was scrolling on social media and I saw a post by a celebrity. So she has 3 kids. Apparently, she had done that post like maybe December because it was sorry. All right, Victor, can you please mute your mic? Thank you. All right. So I saw this post by a celebrity. She has 3 kids, and it was the end of the year. And they had this in Nigeria, we'll call it kolo. So there's this wooden box that is sealed and just has a very little hole where you can slip in money. So they had these 3 big boxes for each of them. And she was like, it's December and we are opening our kolo, also known as piggy bank. And we're like, oh, let's see who saved the most. So she had 3 kids. Apparently the eldest had lost last year because she had some financial demands according to them, and then she did not save so much. And the youngest child was the winner from the last year's savings challenge, so to speak. So when they opened it, to my amazement, you need to see different denominations of money: 100 naira, 200, 500, 1,000. They even had some foreign currency in that box, and they opened and were counting. So over the year, during the year, whenever they receive money, they save a part of it. So they just slip it in. And when they opened up those boxes, I think the eldest had about 300 and something thousand. The others had about 200 and something. But if they were not doing that, that's something that they would have spent. They would have used it to buy biscuits or candies or I don't know what teenagers spend money on, right? So it's very, very important that you pay attention to these things. And of course, there's a long-term benefit. Early savings provides a financial cushion for future opportunities or emergencies. Who says you can't support your mom with 20,000 when she needs to do something urgently? Who says that there may be an unforeseen event, good or bad, that you can't get out money and say, Mom, yeah, this is my own contribution to this, or get a friend a gift or something. So, or seize opportunities, because the goal is not just to even save. It's not just to save alone. It's also to invest, to multiply our wealth. And you can do that by owning a business. In school, who says you can't sell hairbands or socks or something that you know that people really do need? So you are investing money in that business, and then you are getting more money out of the business. So we need to start thinking in that light from this early stage. Okay? All right, please, can we have the next slide? Thank you. So budgeting for beginners, we talked about budgeting, and I appealed that you do not don't just say, oh, no, this is not for me. Budgeting is simple. Contrary to what you think that is only for probably wealthy individuals or nations or big organizations. It's also for individuals. And it is something that you need to pay attention to. I say budgeting is like the first step towards managing your finances properly. What is budgeting? Budgeting is simply planning how you want to spend your money, right? So you have money. How do you want to spend it? What do you want to do with that money? Do you just wake up and then you're walking on the streets and you see a nice top and you're like, oh, let me buy it, without having planned for it? So you must be able to plan your money. And in the community that I run, we have a slogan. We say, never spend without a budget. Like, if it's not in your budget, don't spend it. And of course, we have provision for emergency funds. That's things that you do not envision will happen, things that you do not plan for. So you can, of course, have funds for that, but it is advisable that you do not spend without a budget. Very, 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 very important. Now, a budget is a plan to track and manage your money, your income, both income and expenses. So when you make money, you should have a place where you write it down. Like I said, from the age of 10, whenever I get my pocket money, I write it. Oh, mommy gave me 5,000. I spent so on snacks. And thankfully, we had guardians then in school. So my guardian will be with my money. And when I need money, she will ask me, hey, maybe that was where I even got that wisdom from. What do you need money for? Yeah, now take 1,000 for this week and go and spend it. So if you like, finish your 1,000, you'll be hungry, right? So it's good that we pay attention to these things. Budget. How do you create a budget? It's simple. List your income. So let's say you get gifts, or some of us, you may even be doing a part-time job. So if you are doing a part-time job, I would love to know. You can use the comment section to let us know. Do you do any sort of work? How do you get money? Or just let us know, how do you get money? Do you have an allowance? Do you receive a salary? Do you get gifts often? So if we have our teenagers here, you can just let us know in the comment section. Let's know how you currently receive money, how you currently make money at this point in your life. And then also you have to categorize your expenses. So you categorize your expenses into needs. There are some things that are needs. Those are the things that are essentials, things that you can't do without them. As a teenager, let's say you are responsible for your personal care now. So you need to buy your toiletries, right? So those things are needful. If you go to school and you pay, you use public transport, you need to pay transportation fare. That's an essential, right? So what are the things that are your essentials? You need to state them so that you even know what to spend money on that are really, really your needs, right? And then you have wants. These are the things that you can do without. That shawarma, suya, those things, you can actually do without them. So you state your wants. And then whenever you receive money, there's this budgeting rule called the 50-30-20 budget rule. 50-30-20 budget rule. And it states that 50% of your income should go to your needs. 30% of your income should go to your wants. Those are the things that, whether or not you incur those expenses, you are fine. And then 20% should go to savings and investment. Now, this rule is not cast in stone. You can tweak it. like the 20%, if you know that your parents are mostly responsible for your upkeep, then your needs, there's really nothing you're spending 50% on. You can reduce your 50% and then increase the 20% that is delegated to your savings and investment, right? So instead of saying, no, I'll save 20%, I went to a class and they said we should save only 20% and you're just jolly and happy. No. If you know that you do not have so much responsibilities, then you can increase 20%. You can save 50% of every money that comes to you so that it doesn't look like, oh, I'm saving 100. You can save 80, right? If you know you do not have so many needs, and then the remaining 20, you can use it for whatever you think you need money for. Okay, so I'm not seeing any comments in this comment session. Are we not making any money yet? Nobody gives you gifts, nothing. Please let us know. We want to know how you even generate funds at this stage of your life. And the benefits of using a budget to guide your spending is because it helps you overspending. It helps you to avoid overspending and also helps you to prepare for unexpected costs. So even while you are saving, there's a portion of your saving that you can easily access. Normally we say when you are saving, do not save your money where you can easily access. However, there's a portion of your savings that we call emergency funds, right? There's a portion of your savings that we call emergency funds. And what this emergency fund is for things that you do not plan for. You do not plan for those things. And it's not always bad things. When we hear emergencies, our mind just goes to, hey, something bad. No. Like I said, it could be for an opportunity, it could be for anything, but where at the point of creating your budget, you just did not include that in your budget. You put it under an umbrella term called emergency funds under your savings, right? I hope we are learning. I'd love to get our feedback at this point. Are you learning? Are you learning? Are you getting something new? So you can let us know in the comment section if you are learning from this session. Okay. All right. Please, we can take the next slide. So what is investing? We've learned about budgeting, which is a way of you controlling your finance. Thank you, Mati. It's a way of you controlling your finance, right? Even as a teenager, learning, okay, this is what I want to spend money on. This is what I want to do with money. Now, the elephant in the room, investing. Investing is not only for mommy and daddy. Investing is not only for adults. It's not only for your uncles and aunties or rich people. Investing is also for you. Investing is simply a way of multiplying your money, right? So you are telling your money, okay, become more than you are. And there are different things that you can actually invest your money in. Now, your savings is not an investment. A lot of times people think that, oh, I'm saving, that means I have investments. Now, this is the difference. If you save money, so maybe you have a bank account, you put your money in that bank account. At the end of maybe a month, when they give you, there are some banks that don't even give you capital interest on your money. But at the end of the month, maybe you now get capital interest alert. That's the money they will add to the money you have in your bank account. You may see like 100 naira or 200 naira, depending on how much you have. Sometimes even 10 naira or nothing at all, right? But that is your savings. You have your savings in XYZ account and you have gotten 100 naira on top of it in 3 months. But investing is multiplying that money. So let's say you even put it in a platform like PiggyVest. You saved it on PiggyVest, right? Which is like a very subtle kind of investment. The returns are not so high depending on the options you use, but when you keep it there, at the end of the period, maybe a month or 3 months, you may see 500 or 1,000, which is a lot better than what you have done in savings. Now, let's not say you do something like mutual funds. You may even now get more from that money, maybe up to 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, which is better than the 10 naira that you got from your XYZ bank. So there's a big difference between savings and investments. Investment is making the money work for you, is making the money multiply, okay? And there are some key concepts and things that you can explore. There are different investment options. However, we always warn that you ensure you do your research before exploring any investment option. The first thing you need to invest in before first thing you need to invest in is knowledge. It's knowledge. Don't say, oh, Mr. Naja invested in ETFs, and so ETFs are great. Let me go there to know. Do your research. Don't invest in something because somebody said, oh, it's good. And that's why you see that a lot of people fall prey to scammers, right? You see somebody post a bank alert on social media and it's like, my 100 naira turns to 1 million naira within 2 days. And then you're like, oh my God, let's do this. No, those are even, when you see such things, you should run, right? Don't pay attention to them. Real investments take time to grow. Anything that is sharp, that they're telling you put 100 naira and you get 1 million naira. Those are get rich quick schemes. They are not investments, and a lot of people fall prey to those things. Investment is not gambling. Investments takes time. There are risks involved in investments and there are returns, and it takes time to grow. So anything that is too good to be true, please ensure that you avoid it. Okay, so you can invest in shares, in stock, and you do not even need so much money. With 1,000 naira, you can buy, even if it's 5 units of shares in a company, you can do that. And over time, it will grow, right? It's going to grow. So you can invest in stock, shares. What are stock and shares? They are just like buying a unit of a company. So let's say MTN, you want to invest in MTN. MTN, they are selling their shares. And you're like, okay, I want to buy 2 shares. So you buy 2 shares and maybe a share is 100 naira. So with 2 shares will be 200 naira, right? So you invest 200 naira and then you have 2 units of shares in MTN. And you are like shareholders in a company and like part owners of that company, because like it's just like having an apple, a big apple, and then you take a share, you cut a slice. So a share is like a slice of the apple, right? So that's how it works. And over time, they give you, when they make money, they give you returns, right? They give you returns on investments. So you can get dividends. Some persons give monthly, some bi-monthly, some annually, some quarterly. So it depends. So those are things that you need to research on. And there are different platforms that you can use for that. Different certified platforms, credible platforms that you can use. So I'll mention a few very shortly. But of course, like I said, always do your research and do these things with the guardians of an adult, right? So that you don't get your fingers burnt. Also, you can invest in bonds. What are bonds? Bonds are like lending money to either the government or a private organization. So there are times where the government is like, oh, we need money, and they call for individuals to lend them money. So it could be as low as there's this FG, federal government savings bond, which the government releases every month. And the least you can invest is 5,000 naira. So that 5,000 naira that you used to buy 3 shawarma, you can actually invest it, use it to buy government bonds and leave your money for 2-3 years, and it's growing for you. So this is even something that I will encourage our teenagers to want to take advantage of, right? Because you don't need money in a hurry. So you can actually lock up like 5K, 10K in government bonds, very easy. And then every quarter you are getting returns on, and there's a way you can even structure it that every month you are getting money from the government by giving them a loan, right? And then we have private companies also ask you to give them loans in quotes, which are bonds. They issue commercial paper, though those ones are actually very, very expensive, like 1 million, 5 million naira, right? You can leave that one for mommy and daddy. But you see these government bonds, you can actually take advantage of it. All right. And then we have mutual funds. So mutual funds is a way of it's a way of investing in different things at the same time. So if you are like, you know what, I don't want headache, I don't know about this, I don't want to invest and now invest my money in treasury bills, commercial paper, real estate. and different investment options like that. I want like a box. So a mutual fund is like a portfolio, a bag that has different small investments inside. So if you invest 5,000 or 10,000 in mutual funds, right? Some of them, the least you can invest is like, I think 5,000. Yeah. With 5,000, you can start these investments. You invest 5,000. Now that they will now take your money and invest it in they'll invest the part in treasury bills. You will always see what they use your money for. Treasury bills, maybe small commercial paper, ETF, shares, and then small things like that. And then over time, so it's also depend on the arrangements that they are offering you. You can get money monthly or quarterly, or depending on the arrangements that you have with them. Okay, so one thing you need to know about investments, like I said, invest in knowledge, and there are risks and reward. There are some investments that are high risk, but the beautiful thing about those high risk investments is that they have high returns. So what are returns? Returns are the profits that you make on those investments. So while they are high risk, they also have high returns. It's important that you learn about the risks involved in the investment. Don't invest in what you don't know. Don't say, because my dear friend, my best friend in school invested in this certain investment, then let me do it to know. Don't invest in what you don't know, okay? Educate yourself about the basics of investment strategies, and then consider starting small with as little as 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Have a goal. Tell yourself that, oh, this year I want to invest 10,000 naira. At the end of the year, my investment should be like 10,000 or 20,000, and then you watch it grow, right? Any money you invest, just lock up your mind that I'm not taking that money again. When you get, another very important thing is that when you receive the dividends, we call it dividends on your investments, don't go and use it to buy something nice. Reinvest it. Remember, we spoke about compound interest when we just started this session. If you were here, you can just let us know what compound interest is about. So if you're here when we started, you can remind us in the comment section what we said compound interest is. So when you receive dividend from your investment, please, that is your reward. Don't use it to buy suya. Please don't do that. Invest it back either in the same investment or some other investment. That's the beauty. You see these wealthy people that you admire today, that is how they grew their wealth. That is how they grew their wealth, through their investment. It's not because they are working every day. That is how they make money. No, there's some amount of money that they have kept aside that keeps multiplying. And when that money, we call it the children of the investment. So when it births a child, you don't eat that child, you put it back in the business, back in another investment or the same investment, you can roll it over. So that way, when that child now gets a grandchild, you now invest it back again. So that way, your 5,000 is becoming 5,005, 5,000, 6,000, that way. And that's how I think I have a response here. Adding up investments, dividends to the capital. Thank you so much, Celestine, for that response. Yes, that's what compounding interest is about. It's adding up the dividends, that's the profit you make, so to speak, from the investment, adding it back into the investment, okay? All right, please, can we take the next slide? All right, so now as a teenager, we have coined out some money moves that you need to avoid. If you really want to ace your financial game, there are some money moves that you really need to avoid. And top of that list is impulse buying. Now, what's impulse buying? Spending money without having a plan. Remember, we talked about budgeting. It's very important that you budget. It's very important that you have a plan on how you want to spend your money. Now, impulse buying is one way to finish your money very fast. Your friends are buying this, you too, you want to buy it without having a plan. Or you see something that is very nice. Can you not do without it? Don't buy it, right? So sometimes you need to close your eyes to certain things. And that's why we said you need to differentiate between your needs and your wants. Your needs are the essential things that you can't do without: your transportation, your personal care stuff, your toiletries, things that your snacks, if you are the one who takes care of that, those are very important. But other things that are, no, you don't need them. You can actually do without them, and the world will not stop um, going around if you don't get them, okay? And also, you need to resist impulse buying and high risk spending. So because you have 110K that Uncle Jude gave to you. You are feeling on top of the world that I have money. I have money, I can spend it, and then you now start to spend. Remember, you need to plan for your future. You need to save money now. Nobody says that you can't add to the money that mommy and daddy gives you, right? Nobody says you can't start a business. Remember, another form of investing is not just only in all this stock and stuff like this. Businesses, I encourage people to do businesses, right? It's a very, very good form of investment because you have control. The risks, depending on what you are doing, is relatively low and you can control it, especially if you are the one handling that business, okay? And the returns are also high. Then you need to stop incurring debts. Now, there are a lot of platforms, and that is why a lot of people fall prey. I'm sure you've seen some messages. If you have phones, you've seen messages where they'll say, BC collected 1,000, maybe 5,000 naira from this. She's on the run. If you catch her, tell her, or just different embarrassing things going around because people will not stop doing things like incurring debts. You know that you do not have. Now, I'm not saying that debts are bad, taking loans and all that are bad, no. But before you take any loan, if you must take any loan, which you shouldn't as a teenager without the guidance of your parents or an adult, if you must take any loan because it's juicy and they've told you that, oh, don't worry, it's just 100 naira that is interest, you must have a plan on how you want to pay back that loan. Even as adults, for the adults connected to call as well, before you take a loan, either from these financial institutions or from a friend or family or anybody, you must know that, okay, this 50K, this 10K, this 5K that I am taking, this is how I'm going to pay back because I'm expecting money in 2 weeks' time. And that is what I'm going to use. But what you find is that some persons take loans without a plan on how they want to pay. They just know what they want to use the money for, and they don't have a plan. And as a result, they get into trouble. So please resist. We've had situations where children, teenagers, young adults take loans and then use their siblings, their older siblings' names or contacts, right? And then at the end of the day, that older sibling who is not even aware of what has happened gets into trouble as a result of your act. So please desist from taking loans, no matter how juicy the offers seem, okay? Also, betting. This is another financial trap that a lot of young people fall into. Remember what I said about investments. Investments take time to grow and yield returns. So when you have an offer that is too good to be true, they're telling you, come and bet, put 100 naira and make 20,000 naira. It's just remember what we have said, that these are get-rich-quick schemes. Betting is a trap. It's a very big trap. The financial risks are too much. Betting can lead to significant financial losses. And the way it is, you're saying, okay, it's not just 100 naira, it's not just 500. It's not just, before you know anything, remember what I said about those kids that opened their piggy bank at the end of the year, and those 100 naira, 200, 500, 1,000 that they were dropping at different intervals has grown to almost 500,000. Okay, so it's very important that you avoid this, and it can become an addiction, which is a very harmful habit. And what these things like this set out to do is to take your money because you're now addicted. Okay, it didn't work this time, it work next time. You are very hopeful, you have faith in that betting. Oh, it worked. It didn't work today, it worked tomorrow. Okay, maybe next tomorrow. And then you now see a friend who it worked for, or even lied to you that it worked, and then you are addicted. It's very addictive, and it's going to take all your money that you would have invested in ETFs, money that you would have invested in mutual funds, Money you would have invested in government bonds, it will take up your money. And then it has a long-term impact, which causes losses, it derails your savings and your financial stability. Remember, our goal is to become financially independent adults, right? Our goal is to become financially independent adults. So if you start to engage in this sort of activities at this tender age, you are not going to be able to achieve that goal. And also, you need to avoid substance abuse. It can come in little ways, addiction to one thing or the other. What those things set to do is to also take your money, okay? Aside the fact that it has an impact, a very negative impact on your health, it can drain your finances, it can make you lose focus, it can steal your dreams for the future. Okay, so these are things that you should avoid. You don't want to lose opportunities, right? Money you'd have invested in some other thing you'd have spent on investing in your future, you now begin to engage in harmful habits. So please, 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 please. And that's when you find that people now want to start taking loans from all these platforms, because you need to continue to fund this lifestyle, this addictive lifestyle of either betting or substance abuse. All right, so you need to pay attention to these things. These are money moves that you need to avoid as a teen: impulse buying, incurring debts, taking loans from whoever without a plan on how you want to pay, on how you're going to pay back, betting, substance abuse. Please avoid all these things, okay? Can we have next slide, please? Can we have next slide? Thank you. All right, so now that we have heard these beautiful things and we're like, oh, wow, nice. This is interesting. I can see some of our comments. We're like, wow, I'm learning. This is interesting, very impactful. What do we do? What do we do? What are the practical tips that we need to level up our finances? Now, you need to set clear goals. I advise that after this session, before you get about your other business for the day, have a rethink. Okay, what are my financial goals? What goals do I want to set? What are my short-term goals? What do I really need money for? Have you thought about it? What do I need money for? Do I want to get a gadget? Is there a book I want to get? Do I want to buy a dictionary? Do I want to maybe learn a skill or something? Right? So write it. And then how much is it going to cost you to be able to achieve this goal? You have to also state that. You may not know the full amount, but you can at least give an estimate. And then you have to have a long-term goal. If you are the one sponsoring yourself in school, maybe, oh, this is how much I need to get for my school fees, or this is how much I need to do this or do that or learn a skill, or you want to engage in a project, right? You have this big dream of, oh, I want to build this thing, or I want to do this, I want to start this community and I need some money to do that. How much do you need and how are you going to raise it? And the beautiful thing about having a goal is that a clear-cut goal is that it helps you focus and then it attracts. So if you are one of those that like, oh, nobody gives me money now, you'll be amazed at how after creating a goal for yourself, you begin to attract the finances that you need to achieve that goal. Okay? And then you need tools and resources, right? So you can get budgeting tools. You know, we spoke about budgeting. How do you budget? You can get a pen and a notepad, a journal, rule a line, my income, my expenses. You can do that. You can use a notepad for that. You can use a spreadsheet. So either Google spreadsheets, Google Sheets, or Excel on your phone. You should have a phone. If you don't, of course, you can use your notepad like we said. And then you can also get budgeting apps. So if you have a gadget, you can go on Google Store, Play Store, type budgeting and expense tracking apps. They are free. There are a lot of them that are so free, right? So just very easy to use as well. Just put in how much you spent, how much you got, how much, and it will keep showing you this. There are some graphs that will even pop up. There will be like a pie chart that will show you, oh, you're spending more money here, or you're using up more money here. So they are very, 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 very useful tools that you can use in budgeting. And then I will advise, it's a beautiful thing that we're having this session at the beginning of the year. So I'll advise that you start small with 1,000 naira. Now, PiggyVest. Now, these platforms, these applications I'm going to mention, they are apps that are tested and trusted. I, for one, I use a lot of them that I have stated here without issues for 7 years, and they are certified by SEC, right? So in Nigeria, and they have platforms. So, but like I also said, before you get involved in any sort of investing, do your research as well. Go on social media, go check for them, right? Check for their addresses, check for who their directors are, okay? So that you are sure that you are involved in the right investment. So you have PiggyVest, yourself and your friends. There's this thing they call challenges on PiggyVest, savings challenge. You can have your friends, you and 5 of your friends come together and say, let's set up a savings challenge. You know what, this year, let's save 20,000 naira or 50,000. Let's challenge ourselves. You set it up on PiggyVest, right? You can even go on YouTube, how to set up a savings challenge on PiggyVest. Lock it up. You click on the lock option that you are not able to withdraw your money till the date that you set. So you can actually set a date, like maybe 25th of December or June, whatever time you guys agree on. And then as you make money, you can be keeping it there. Remember, I spoke about the physical piggy bank. So the PiggyVest is just like a physical, tech, it's a fintech. We call them fintech platforms as financial technology platforms. Now, yourself and your 3 friends can be locking up money there. Nobody has access to your money. But what it does is that when Ada or BC puts money in her challenge, you see it, hey, BC saved 500 today. When you fund your own account and put maybe 1K, everybody sees it that she has funded, so they can only see your progress, but nobody can withdraw your money. So it's a good way of people being accountable, because in personal finance, one of the things that will also help you is to be accountable. When everybody's foiling your flame, you two, you are foiling their own flame. And like, hey, go girl, we are financial people. Let's do this. Let's save for a good, better future. That sort of thing. So you can use PiggyVest for that. There's also Optimus by AfriInvest. So if you want to explore investing in shares, stock, mutual funds, you can use Optimus by AfriInvest for that. Then there's the AfriInvestor app itself. That is the application where you can take advantage of government bonds, treasury bills, and stuff like that. But like I said, always do these things with the aid of an adult, okay? Then there is also Sycamore. So Sycamore is similar to PiggyVest, where you can lock up your money, you can save up money, and then, of course, they give you an interest, even on PiggyVest. If you do not break your savings before the time you say you're going to break it, you get an interest about maybe 15, 16% on your whatever it is that you have saved, right? The same thing with Sycamore, and also Optimus by AfriInvestor. They have an option for locking up your money or just flex. So there's a flex account that you can actually save and withdraw maybe like 2 or 3 times a month. So these are options that you can explore as a teenager. There's Bamboo for stock. There's also Carrywise. There is Bankly. Bankly is also similar. It's a fintech platform as well. Because one thing you need to know about shares and stock and all that, you need a broker. So while you may not be able to walk up to a physical stockbroker, you can actually use an app like Bamboo, you can use an app like AfriInvestor 2.0, okay? But of course, you can do your research. Go on YouTube, go online, go to their websites, explore these options, check. Because of time, we'll not be able to explore all that here. And then also invest in educational resources. You heard when Adeze said that she has been reading a lot. Even as an adult, she's reading a lot about personal finance, how to grow wealth. So it's something that you're not too young. Don't let anybody make you think that you're too young to start making money. If you read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you see that Robert started his own financial journey at a very tender age. Okay, and that's why he's so successful today. All right, and then you need to, so practical steps you can take as we wrap up the session is that you need to start saving, right? You can, just like I said, you can do something with your friends, or you can go solo if you want to. You can even get a colo, a piggy bank, and be putting money in there, or you can use the fintech platforms to do that, and then monitor your spending weekly. So if you're the type that spends a lot, you need to start keeping track. Use an app or use a spreadsheet or use a notebook. Write out what you are spending money on. You'll even be amazed. Are you serious? So I spent 10,000 naira this week. Are you kidding me? Where did I even get the money from? Right? But if you don't do that, you will not be able to know how much money is even passing through your hand and how you are spending money. So monitor your spendings weekly. And then, of course, research on investment options, avoid temptations like betting, substance abuse, lending from different platforms and all that. And then stay informed. Attend workshops like this, take courses, speak to your mommy and daddy, speak to mentors, join communities where they are talking about personal finance. You are not too young to begin to equip yourself with knowledge on how to manage your finances better. Please, can we have the last slide? All right, so this is just a recap on all that we have learned today. We've learned that you need to start saving early, budget like a boss, and invest smartly. Also, you need to avoid pitfalls like betting, substance abuse. Your future self, we actually thank you. We thank you so much for doing all this. And then you need to take control of your financial journey today. Take control of your financial journey today and know that every small step counts. That 1,000 naira that you have decided to invest, it counts. That 1,000 naira you have decided to save, 5,500. It is very, very important. And in conclusion, I'd like to end with this very powerful quote by Peter Drucker, which says, the best way to predict the future is to create it. I really do hope that you've learned one or two things from today's session and you are ready to apply it. Thank you. Thank you, Adeze.
Wow. Thank you so much, Desi. Yeah, this is a lot of information, a lot of material, and even I myself, I learned a lot. So I definitely appreciate you speaking in this much detail. I love when you spoke about, the loans, because that's one thing that is very prolific in Nigeria now. Collect loan, it's okay, collect 5,000. You can collect as low as 1,000. And many times we take those loans, it's not really for anything useful at all. It's, so I'm really grateful you spoke to that. Um, um, and I want to open up the floor to questions. If there is anyone here with a question, you can drop it in the chat or you can raise your hand, and we will take. Someone said Techno BG Sex says, good afternoon, Ma. I want to ask a simple question. You can, if you can type it to me if you want to, or you can raise your hand. I don't know if you know how to raise your hand. Sometimes some people using Zoom are not sure, but you can raise your hand and I can ask you to unmute so that you can ask in person. I always advocate for young people, secondary school students here, don't be shy to ask questions. First of all, this is not school. Nobody's going to beat you. But more than that, don't be shy to raise up your hand in places and ask questions. So, Mrs. Otu, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. I don't know if you're raising your hand because you want to ask a question or you're saying thumbs up. Well done. But I've asked you to unmute just in case you want to ask a question. Techno BG6, I've also asked you to unmute. You can say your name, maybe your secondary school, where you're from, and you let me know what your question is. So yeah, thank you so much for the people saying we are learning, very interesting, very impactful. Thank you so much, Desi. I'm really happy we're getting this feedback because that really shows that, what we're doing is very useful and impactful for the young people. Does anyone have a question? Don't be shy. Don't be worried. We want to support. So essay, okay, essay, raise the hand. Just give me a minute. I'm going to find you and ask you to unmute so that you can ask your question. Oh, Mrs. Otu. Okay, Miss Otu, please go ahead. I think I've unmuted you already. If you can, if you can hear, please go ahead. Oh, so essay Otu, sorry. Essay, please go ahead. Hi.
Sorry. Good
Oh, okay.
afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Sir, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Okay, I do have a couple of questions. My first, Ayomide. I'm a law graduate. Okay, I do have a couple of questions. First of all, I wanted to know about because I just want to know about dollar, basically, conversion of naira to dollar, whether it's actually a type of investment, and how would you advise a person to actually go around that, um, those kind of investment, basically, like
Okay.
the role of basically in investment.
Okay. So you said you have a couple of questions. Is it all of it, or is there another one so that we can take it all of it together?
Okay, there are others. Okay, okay. I did run into a situation. The second question, actually, I did run into a situation where I actually needed money, basically for a business. You spoke a little bit down on loan. I just want to ask if the other method of actually raising money urgently apart from loans. Basically, that's my second question. Then my third question is actually based on shall I use word investment and bonds, which would actually be more preferable. For example, for someone who just wants to start financial, shall I use word planning? Yes, planning. What would be advisable? Should and which will yield more interest? Is it bonds, government bonds, just like you mentioned, or probably investing in like PiggyVest or Sycamore, just like you said? Then my last question is actually in relation to a particular app that I came across. When I RiseVest, probably another fintech app. One of the things I discovered was that it actually has things like high risk investment, minimum investment, and um, fixed or just a stable investment. I wanted to ask for probably financial view, speaker's financial view as regards um, those kind of investment, basically. Yes, thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you, Essay, for the questions. I think some of these questions are very specific and potentially at a level higher than we want to cater to because our catering is for secondary school students. What we can do, I'll hand over to, if there is any other any other question, um, feel free to either type it in the chat or raise your hand, but I'm going to hand over to Mr. Nodja. I know that she's definitely going to be able to answer most of it, but I think first of all, for sake of time, but second of all, for the sake of keeping this simple for young people, then you might need to contact her personally so that she can um so that she can advise further, right? I'll just answer one question from the chat, which relates to how to get the lecture notes. We can share the slides on our WhatsApp page, on our WhatsApp group. So you can download it from there. And we always post our slides we always post the videos on our YouTube page. I've spoken about connecting with us on our socials. So that means go to our YouTube page. I'm going to show you later. In fact, I'll just show it now. Go to our YouTube page and you would see everything we've done from last year, everything we'll be doing this year, you're going to see it, okay? So that's that. Mrs. Otto, please unmute. I think we should take all the questions. Desi, I hope you're noting them down just so that you can speak on them generally.
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you
Yes,
so
I am.
much. Mrs. Otto, I think I've asked you to unmute. If you can unmute and you can ask your question, please. Or you can drop it in the chat if that works, please, so that you can. I am SL2 Moya Shore. I want to ask how you can have an account since you're not up to 18 years old. This is a really pertinent question. So yeah, Mrs. Desi, Mr. Noja will answer. Mrs. Otto, please, you can go ahead. Thank you.
No, I don't know what I'm mute.
Mrs. Otto, are you speaking or is that the same question from
I
SA?
think it's for this. It's my daughter that want to ask question.
Okay, ma. Okay, ma. Please go
Can
ahead.
you hear me? Okay,
Yes,
oh
ma.
yeah.
Good morning, ma. My name is Usewi. My school is FGC Odogbolu.
Okay.
I have a question. If a person does not have a phone and a bank account, how can they save their money?
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. That's a really good question as well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that question. Any other questions before I hand over completely to Mrs. Desi, to Mrs. Onoja or Desi? Any other questions? Thank you, Mrs. Otto. Okay. Okay, so Desi, if it's okay with you, please, you can go ahead and answer the questions. Thank you so much, everybody, for the questions. And that shows that we're listening, and that means that we're very excited to do what she's shared with us. So Desi, please go ahead.
Thank you. And thank you so much for these very enlightening questions. Like, I think they're really very useful. So I'll start with the dollar question, if that's a form of investment. Well, when you say changing naira to dollar to naira, just simply have an account, like a domiciliary account, open a dollar account, right? It's very simple. You can walk into any bank, ask for their requirements. Some are more friendly. The requirements are more friendly than others, but it's something that I advise that everyone, for obvious reasons, have an account, a dollar account, okay? Because with the increase, for instance, you spoke about RiceVest. I started using RiceVest maybe about four to 5 years ago, when dollar was way below 1,000, right? Maybe like 400 or 500. And you can imagine how much appreciation has happened to the money. So my 400 then for just $1 has become about 1,600 naira. So it's something that I advise. And the same thing, if you have just a regular dollar account with any bank of your choice, as dollar appreciates, your money also appreciates. So it's not something that you now even say, oh, let me now change or something like that. No, just having a DOM account it's fine. It takes care of that sort of investment. And the beautiful thing about these fintech platforms that I also mentioned, PiggyVest, Optimus by AppFree Investor, they also have the US stock and dollar options, right? Where you can save in foreign currency. Okay, so it's something that, yeah, I advise it. I advise that you actually save in foreign currency. Then speaking of how some other ways to actually acquire loans. Now, I'm not saying taking loans are bad, right? It's not bad. You can actually use that as a funding option for your business. However, you must have a feasibility study. What do I mean? Okay, so now you need 100,000 to stock up to buy goods to sell. How much goods are you going to buy? How much are you going to make? What's the duration? How much are you going to make on that money? When will you be able to pay back that 100,000 naira? Now, if you can't answer those questions, that is where it's now not advisable to take loans. You can actually use loans to fund your business, right? If you are sure that you are going to make money from whatever it is that you are investing that money in, and you'll be able to pay at the time they have told you. So other options that you can explore is your own savings. Whenever people are talking about starting a business, I don't know why it's very quick for you to want to just jump on a loan. No, you can actually save up money for a period of time and then start small, right? You don't have to have 3 million naira to start up a business. You can start with 50,000, 200,000, 500,000, right? So, and you can save up that money. And that's where proper financial management also comes into play. If you have a 9 to 5, how much are you going to save up every month, knowing that I want to invest so amount in that business? Okay, so your personal savings, then you can take soft loans from your family and friends. So those ones are not going to announce you to the world like all these other platforms do. You can take soft loans. But like I said, just like with the other sort of loans, you need to know when you are going to pay them their money and have a plan to pay. Because the bad thing about taking money from your friends and family is that sometimes you don't have a plan to pay, right? And then when you start asking for your money, like, are you not my friend? Are you not my brother or sister or something like that? So always have a plan to pay back your loans. It even helps you as a person. And then you can also explore grants. So there are a lot of institutions that give grants. So that's something that you may also want to explore. So you can save up, you can take a soft loan, you can take an actual loan from a financial institution with a plan on how you want to pay back. And then you can explore the options of applying for grants. There are a lot of people that get it. I don't know why we are very quick to, when we see all this kind of application, like, it's for them, it won't work. But I know personally of people who have benefited from these things without knowing anybody in those institutions. All right, so I hope that answers your question. And then you talked about investing in bonds and other type of investments, which one pays more? Now, like I said, it depends on your risk appetite. So there's something we call risk appetite. Some persons have high risk appetite, some low risk appetite. And then also it depends on when you need that money back. So something like government bonds now. Government bonds, they're going to lock up your money for 2 to 3 years, depending on the option that you choose. So if you know that you need that money within 1 year, it's not something that you want to do. And then the returns are not so high. Okay, so it's about 17 to 19% per annum, right? That's the interest that you make. However, it splits into quarters, right? So you receive your money quarterly. And like I said, there's a way you can structure it that you receive money monthly. So if you invest in government bonds for 3 consecutive months, that way you just earn yourself the right to receive money from the government every month. But if you invest little money, you get little money. So if you can't compare the returns on investment of 100K to the returns on investment of 500,000. So if you need a lot of returns, dividends from a particular investment, you need to invest a lot of money. And that's how it works across all investment platforms, right? The amount you receive depends on the interest rate and the amount you are investing in that investment option. The same thing for shares. So shares are high risk. I think you mentioned shares. Shares are high risk because you are investing in a business. Anything can happen. The economy may not favor them. The economy may favor them. There are some companies that when they started, their shares were maybe like 1 naira. Today, their shares are 100 naira, something like Oando. Those guys have grown over the years, right? So imagine you invested a lot of money there. That means your money has gone up. And there is a company like BlackBerry that when they started, but today we don't know where they are to get. So that's why we say also do your research, and then the industry that you invest in is also very important. If it's an emerging industry that you know that is here to stay, then you know that okay, I can invest in this particular, I can buy the shares of this company. So do your research on the company, how long they've been existing, their credibility, how they are going to be affected by different economic factors to know the company to invest in. And then RiseVest, yes, is also another very good option. on RiseVest, there are different, just like other platforms, there are different levels of risks that are allocated to each of the investments. So something like shares, if you look at they have portfolios, right? So if you click on them, they will always tell you, oh, if you invest in this particular investment option, you are investing in real estate, in shares, and probably treasury bills. So it depends on how high each of those investments are, how high the risk is. That's how high the returns and also the risks of you. But most times you don't lose your capital. Maybe you may not make as much, something like mutual funds. Now, because of the movement in interest rate, you may not make as much as you had envisioned that you will make, right? So, okay. So I think that's for Essay's question. Then we have a question on how you can open bank accounts as a child and invest in all these things. So different banks have different bank accounts for children. Even mutual funds, there are things that you can actually, there are different options that you can explore for your children. There are kids and savings accounts. If you walk into any bank, they have this smart kids save accounts where your parents will actually be the ones to fill the form for you and then provide some basic information, just like your birth certificate, your passport photograph, then your own parents' credentials, like their voter's card, NIN, and stuff like that, utility bill. And then, of course, you have a minimum, or some even have zero opening balance. So you don't need to even put money there, right? So you can either go online if you want, if you have a bank in mind that, oh, I want to open an account in this bank or for my child in this bank, then you go online and then most banks, almost all banks have kids and teens accounts for children, almost all banks. I've picked the form for my kids as well. So it's something that you should do. Or if you don't want to maybe open a bank account outrightly for your children, you can dedicate one of these platforms to your children. Like my RiseVest is for my kids. I have their names again. So because you have the option of naming the plans. So I have my kids' names on these plans. So whenever they receive money, because they are very young, 7 and 5. So I do that for them. I put their money in there and then whatever money I want to invest for them, right? So these are things, I think those are all the questions we received, if I'm not mistaken. Daisy.
Yes, they are. Thank you so much. In fact, even the I think you even spoke about it a lot, right? So I think it was you that asked about, the bank account. I think even you can start with that, but Mr. Noja even spoke about having the colo, right? The piggy bank, right? You can start with that, especially when you're in school, maybe if you're in boarding house, for example, or you're in school. During that time, you save. Then you now tell your mom, Mommy, take me to a bank. You go to the bank, you ask them about what Mr. Noja has spoken about a children's savings. Banks are constantly trying to actually attract young people to save. And some of them have all these like extra things they add to make it attractive, and all of that. So as much as possible, you can practice all of the things that Mrs. Onoja has said. Thank you so much, Desi. Thank you for an incredible presentation. I learned a lot. And it's a constant journey. It's like, when you were talking about impulse buying, I was laughing at myself because even though I make a budget and, I'm like, I'll stick to it. Some days I'm coming back from work and I'm so hungry. I'm like, I'm too tired to cook. So I'll enter somewhere and buy something. So when you were even speaking about it, I was like, this never ends. And if you don't build that habit when you're young, when you're older, it doesn't matter if you're making millions, you struggle to save and to invest your money. So thank you for that good reminder for me and I guess other adults on the call. But thank you for, taking your time, breaking it down, being very self-explanatory, like very simple and self-explanatory for the kids. Well, 10, 12 minutes over the time. So I'm just going to go ahead and speak very quickly about our upcoming events. This is, I think, 8th of March, we're going to have a session about the importance of holding leadership positions in secondary school, right? If you're in secondary school right now and you're thinking, when they say class captain, who wants to be class captain? You say, class captains, they're not the cool people or something like that. Or prefect, holding a prefect position in school, does it matter? That's the conversation we're going to have. Spoiler alert, it matters. It's a good thing. It's not that if you don't have it, it's horrible, but it's a good thing. It helps you. Again, we're talking about building habits and responsibilities that help you for the future. These are things that will help you, especially then if you're now going to try and get admission into schools outside the country, if you're going to try and get scholarships and all of that. Very important. So I'm really excited about this conversation, and we have 3 very phenomenal people who come and speak to you, some of whom have gotten scholarships even themselves to school, so they know what they're talking about again. So that's one thing we try to do in JUICE. We don't just bring people who tell you stories and, oh, this is textbook stuff. We bring people who actually have gone through what we're asking you to do. And so you're learning from Mrs. Onoja, you learn from Brida, you learn from Mr. Caleb, you learn from Mr. Chukwuebuka, and all of this knowledge, you put it together and you build the life that you want, right? So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. It's been a really exciting session. To the parents who are here, you're doing an incredible thing being part of your child's journey and supporting them to learn this at this young age. To the secondary school students who are here, if you've picked 1 or 2 things from here, you're already better than you are if you did not join. So I hope you're excited about that. And finally, to any teacher who is here, thank you for being part of this, because that genuinely means that you're not just a teacher, you're not just teaching math or English, you're also going to be teaching the children life skills that will definitely help them for the future. These are our numbers in case you don't have our contact already. Our number, there's only one number on the screen. That's our number. But these are all of our social media platforms. You can follow us on social media, especially our Instagram and our YouTube. We post every video we do, every session we have, we post it on YouTube. So if you've benefited from this and your sister has a child and you want to send to your sister so her child can also learn, whenever we post it, we'll tell you on the WhatsApp group, and you can just check for it. After a few days, check our YouTube page, you'll see that it's been uploaded. Our Instagram page is to keep you abreast of what we're going to have next. So the next section we're having you find out, you'll be able to, mark it in your calendar, put it in your head that it's going to happen. And any other thing we have coming up, like our boot camp, which will be coming up in August. In our boot camp, because Mrs. Onoja spoke about starting a business, we're going to be teaching entrepreneurship, how to think in a way that if today you're thinking, nobody is giving me money, I don't really have pocket money, how can you start today to start making money for yourself that you can start saving? So we're going to be teaching entrepreneurship amongst many other things. So again, it's in August, but we're going to give you more information as time goes on. And yes, so that's it. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. And I hope everyone had fun and learned a lot. Again, any secondary school student who is here who would like more support, more mentorship, even on this topic we've spoken about, you can connect with us on the platform and we can get you access to people like Mrs. Desi or myself or any other mentors in JUICE who can guide you on your journey as you go along. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. Goodbye. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
thank you, Mrs. Onaja. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.